Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be looking into Sarris's invasion. We're taking a brief look at an introduction to the NSEA protector. We're going to be looking at the different hostiles. We're looking at the Chimeras, which are the little solo armadas. We're going to be taking a look at the fatty crepes. Yeah, we'll get that little quip in there, the fatty crepes. I'm trying to make that stick, so everybody please call the fatty crepe the fatty crepes. But we're going to be taking a look at the fatty crepes. We're going to be seeing how they go, and we're going to look at some brief instructions on crewing, how the events work, how to succeed in this, what all the different events are, and all that sort of thing. First of all, let's look at the NSEA coming out of dock there. Pretty decent. Pretty happy with the artwork on there. I think they've included like a scratch from when it cattered into the side of a spaceship or I'm not really sure. I'm not really seeing Galaxy Quest. I'm not too hot on that. What I can tell you about is Star Trek Fleet Command's introduction to Galaxy Quest. Let's go. Okay, let's start. So first of all, we need to talk about obviously what the actual process of this is. This is going to be a temporary style event. So it's going to be an event that runs for around 4 days, and then the event's going to go away, and then the event's going to come back. It's going to be a case of it's going to come to and fro, obviously into the game. Very similar to how the likes of incursions work, the Borg events. This is going to be another one of those. It will pop up when it pops up. We've got no rigid schedule for this unless one presents itself later on. We're not 100% certain as to how all this is going to go, but let's just start off how it all works. So the actual events themselves. So the events themselves go into a bundle called Sarris's Invasion Fleet. So within the bundle, you can see these are all of the day 2/day 3 events, and also the IMS, which is there as well. So anybody that's not sure, let me just go through what some of these acronyms mean, because it might throw a few people off. IMS, Instance Milestone, or a server milestone. So everybody who's on your server, I'm on EU 135, are competing to, not competing, working together to be able to complete this milestone. RLB, Regional Leaderboard, meaning that we are competing with all the other EU servers. So all of these numbers here are all EU servers. We are competing against them in a leaderboard, which goes down to 500 places for dealing damage. SMS, we know, solo milestone, just you. All you have to do, go out there and deal with it yourself. Solo leaderboard, go out there. You are trying to compete against everybody else on your server to try and finish top, to try and score from it. And then obviously there's a Chimera, whatever we want to call them, solo leaderboard at the top there as well. So this event, obviously the first day, the goal of this was to kill the fatty crepe hostiles. Yeah, fatty crepe again, there it is. The fatty crepe hostiles, keep it flashing. The fatty crepe hostiles, or the fatu cray hostiles. Now, the fatu cray hostiles, the goal with this was to try and hit as high as you could physically reach and comfortably kill the hostiles. And the trick to this is to look into the systems, and you can see obviously that there are these little flags. Now, there is a current glitch with these systems. These systems with the flags are supposed to be the only systems that contain the hostiles. At the moment, that is not happening 100%. You may find them in other systems. This is not intended and will be fixed for future runs. So if you're watching this in the future and wondering how the Sarris invasion events work, just look for the flags. Look for all the flags. They are all over the place, and they start down as low. This is supposed to be for ops 25 plus to be able to kill, which is why we've got them in the level 25 system. So anybody 25 plus can help contribute towards the instance milestone, and you can see that they then scatter themselves. They move up through G3 space, move up through G4 space. They move into certain regions of G5 space, and then there's a couple in G6 systems as well. So they do span the game quite well, which is nice, but the goal is to go out and kill those hostiles. Now, one big trick for you to use, think about this, try and find a housing system, which is one of the flagged systems. So the one that I use, now this isn't the one that everybody's going to use, of course it's not, but you use somewhere like this for me. So if you're a G6 player, you could use this, but you could use the same tactic, but obviously just move down in systems if this isn't a system that you're able to hit, or move up in systems if you can find one any higher. So, and the trick to this is to find a housing system, which is what this is. So what we can do is we can use our NX01 to peek into this system, and you can see this is a housing system. And then I can move to one of these. Obviously, firstly, I just need to recall my NX01, and then we can click the button and we can relocate into this system. Now, in terms of crewing, you can crew these as standard hostiles. Now, I'm saying this because that might think, well, of course you can, they're hostiles. Okay, but that is going to become prevalent when we talk about the next stage of this type of event. So these are just normal hostiles. You can go out and kill them with your normal hostile crews. Now, what I will tell you is to completely ignore your cargo space. Generally, what is dropped from the hostiles is pretty significant. Look, 780,000 of the Fatu crate scraps. 780,000 of the Fatu crate scraps. Where you get the most value from these hostiles is in the loot chests. So if we open the loot chest from that hostel, remember 780,000, 2.2 million, over 3x from the chest compared to what you physically get from the hostile. And I'm going to go around and I'm going to hit a few of these hostiles in order for me just to prove a point to you that every single hostile that you kill will drop a chest, which is fantastic. This is a tactic that they've played with a couple of hostiles lately. It started off with the Borg, I think. I think the increase in the Borg systems were the first ones where a chest was dropped from every single hostile. But this is nice to see. You can go and you can hit as many of these hostiles as you want. Now, in terms of crewing, if you are hitting appropriate levels with your biggest ships, bear in mind, I'm only in Ops 63, I'm saying only, but I'm hitting the 65 hostiles. These hostiles are pretty squishy. So what you want to be focusing on here, in my opinion, to be able to complete the SMS events and to make this loop as quick and as simple as possible is to be able to use a speed crew. So the officers that we want to use for a speed crew are the likes of William Riker as captain, let me show you the crew that I'm using. So I am using Riker as captain. I am using Strange New Worlds Una on one side, and I'm using Curon on the other side. Then below deck, obviously, remember, we have now got an impulse speed officer added to the game for the below decks. Alexander Dane. Alexander Dane is our below deck impulse speed improving officer. So if you're watching this after the first month and we've got some sort of sourcing for them, or you've been able to get them unlocked, you can see his below deck ability increases the ship's base impulse speed by 20. That's at rank 1 and it's 60 at rank 5. So consider putting Alexander below deck to increase your impulse speed even further. Now remember, if you are able to, consider using 2 ships for this. Speed your grind up a little bit, because don't forget we've got the Pan crew, which is sort of like an OG one. We've got the Clark crew, which we could use with full synergy. There are a few impulse speed increasing officers that you can use to speed up your impulse power. Now, if you're struggling to kill these, then maybe sacrifice the likes of Will Riker and Una and maybe go for Strange New Worlds Pike as captain, or maybe go for try Pike, Chen, and Curon, for example. Do you know what I mean? Try and have some sort of speed element in there. These hostiles are relatively squishy, so we just don't need to really worry about how hard it is to kill them if you're hitting them at your appropriate ops level, and your ships and research are up to snuff for where you should be in the game. So you can see here I've been grinding for literally a couple of minutes while this video has been live, and I've managed to amass 14, well, this has been my 16th kill now, because obviously we opened one a second ago. I did go check Alexander Dane as well, so we lost a few seconds there, but I've managed to come out. I've managed to kill 16 hostiles. Obviously my cargo is absolutely full, so I've got 2 million loot from there, and then I can go into my chests and I've got another 34 million. So me as a G6 player, I need 105 million, and bearing in mind I'm getting nearly 3 million a go. I'm getting nearly 3 million per hostile if I keep my cargo space, whereas if I don't go and empty my ship and I just keep hitting hostiles for the loot boxes, I'm getting about 2.2 million. So 2.2 million into 105,000, pretty simple maths. It's about 40 to 45 hostiles that you will need to kill. So 40 to 45, this is really good because you can just keep checking the chest numbers. So I know I'm up to 20, I've opened 16 in the past, so I can keep going. And once I got up here, use this items box ticker, checker, moving up, use that as your reference. Once I've killed 45 hostiles, I know that this grind is done for me for the day. The other thing to remember as well is that this also allowed me to complete my solo milestone on day 1. So me me going and getting enough scraps to be able to do my refine was enough for me to be able to complete my SMS on day one for the Sarris invasion day one, because that was what the first event was. It was an SMS for you to go out and kill and get these scraps to be able to score in that event. So you keep going, and like I say, it just I'm going to skip forward now to the point where we've then got enough. While we kill the last couple of hostiles, I'm going to take this opportunity to say to you, please, please, please press the subscribe button, press the like button if you like our content. Leave a comment down below as well. Let me know how you're finding the Sarris invasion fleet as the Galaxy Quest crossover happens. So remember, we did 16 chests before. We needed about 43 to 45 hostiles to be able to do it. So we're now at 41 boxes, 25 plus the 16. We're at 41. We'll kill a couple more for good measure. Remember, I'm not emptying my cargo. I'm sacrificing that 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds warp to go back empty, then go back out. I'm sacrificing loot doing that. I'm doing it. But this is the tactic, just to go out there and just grind out the chest. That's my 44, so I can do that. And just for reference, I've not stopped really doing this other than to quickly check Alexander Dane earlier for you. But if we look and we see how long it took, I started killing these 7 minutes ago, just ticked over to 8 minutes ago. Take away a minute for looking at Alexander Dane, it's taken 7 minutes. 7 minutes to do that SMS, do that grind, and get enough loot to be able to kill those hostiles and do my refine. And you can see as well, it was just one hull of my ship. Just not quite a hull. I didn't die once. You might find it might take you a couple of hulls to do it in your strongest ship, but very, very straightforward tactic. Try and stick to a speed crew. If a full speed crew like what I'm using doesn't work for you, incorporate a little bit of hostile killing ability within your fights. So that's day one, and it is as simple as that. What do you do once you've got your Fatu Cray scraps? We're going to go here a few times. So your Fatu Cray scraps, you're then going to claim all these fantastic rewards. So you're going to take your fat. Oh my word, how much have I won here? Oh God, all my daily events. So we're going to take all of our Fatu Cray scraps. We're then going to go into the event store. This is the right place for this because it is a temporary store. So you will only see the Fatu Cray scrap exchange, which is this bundle here. You will only see it while the event is launched. You will only see it while the event is live. So you can then go into your Fatu Cray scraps and you can see I have not got enough. Odd. I didn't open my boxes. That's why I haven't got enough. So trust me, I do know what I'm talking about. So there was 60 million when we go in there, go into the event store, Fatu Cray scrap exchange. And what do we get from this? So we get a little jump of Syndicate XP. We get the green blue particle accelerators. Green blue particle accelerators. Don't know why this isn't blue. The blue particle accelerators we're going to use in a second. These are basically your Armada directives for this loop. And then you've got several different building materials to upgrade some of your specialty building, and then the chance of getting some Xborg credits as well. So we're going to do that refine and we'll see what we get. So we've got a bit of Syndicate XP, we got 50. That's annoying. That's really annoying because you need 100 to start the blue particle accelerator Armadas, which we're going to go on to in a second. So that's irritating that you can't get, I didn't get a full one on that. But the previous 2-day pulls I did, and I was able to kill 2 of the hostiles, which I'll be able to show you the battle logs and things for as well. So that's day one, and that completes that event. When day 2 launches, all of the events that are currently live that you can see on screen now, these are the ones that pop up. So what do we need to do when we look at this? So the IMS is still going. So the IMS has 2 main scoring patterns, and it's killing the Fatty Crepe hostiles. There they are again. It's killing the Fatu Cray hostiles. Obviously, the higher level you hit, the more points you score towards this. But also launching attacks against the Chimeras, which is the Armadas. So it's launching them, so spending the directives, but also defeating those as well. So defeating the Armadas that are up there, the Chimeras. So they're the scoring tactics for the IMS. I don't think we're going to finish this, if I'm being honest. I think within a day, I think we'll probably get to the next milestone, but I don't think we're going to finish it. And this is super important. You need to rally around your servers, and your servers need to understand the benefits of this in order for you to be able to unlock the NSEA Protector. And the reason for this, again, I'm going to go into the different currencies, and we're going to spread them out across the video, is these, the Fatu Crate eye patches. So the eye patches, you can get up to 25,000 by completing this SMS as a server. So 25,000, what does that allow you to do? Now, you can get that in several other events as well. So, for example, the Chimera Hunt, the Armada SLB, basically, for defeating the other Armadas. You can get eye patches from that as well. You can get it from the standard solo leaderboard. You could get them from the Killing Fatty Crepe Hostiles event, which ran on day 1. You can get that. There's a solo leaderboard which runs just for the first day for you to be able to compete and get some more eye patches. The SMS obviously pays eye patches as well, so they are being paid out in relative abundance, as well as the regional leaderboard. Now, I'm going to say this event realistically is for, you will not finish right near the top of this unless you are spending and buying additional directives. The people at the top of this are going to be relatively high spending players that are able to do it. So I've done my 2 runs that I got for free. I killed the second highest Armada that's available, and the 2 that I did allowed me to get less than 6 million points, and obviously the winner has got over 1 billion. The only way to score billions is going to be to be able to go out there and do more of the Armadas, which involves spend. You can get I'm going to say you're going to get between 1 and 3 Armadas per event. Okay, which is pretty stingy, because if you've got 50 but all 3 days from the eye patches that I was just from the Fatu Crate scraps, if you only got 50 per day, you're only going to get 150 accelerators, which allows you to start 1 Armada. But then the next time the event runs, you're going to be able to start 2. If you was lucky to get a 100 in there at any point, obviously you're going to be able to go up. If you've got 100 all 3 pulls that you can do during the event, then you may be able to run 3 of the different Armadas. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the Armadas, and we've talked about the eye patches, but I haven't told you what the eye patches do. So the eye patches, you're going to go into the Sarris Invasion store, which again, is a temporary store which runs 1 day after all of the event finishes. And basically, there are a few things in here that you can spend the eye patches on. So you can spend them on getting Gwen DeMarco shards. We will do separate officer videos later in the month just to explain the different values to them. But basically, it's giving us a sourcing path for Gwen DeMarco on day 1, which is a huge cha-ching. The Galactic Acclaim tokens also use eye patches. Now, the Galactic Acclaim tokens are used to do the favours which are in your faction store. So basically, they are specific hull boost researches, as it were, favours for you to increase the hull health of a particular faction ship. Again, we'll maybe talk about that a bit more on a live stream, talk about where we see the value in there. But anybody that's not got the NSEA protector, the only place you should be spending your eye patches is on the blueprints. The blueprints cost 1,250. Now, I've told you that you can get 25,000 by completing your instance milestone. If you only complete the first 3 milestones, you will get 12,500, which in essence means that you are going to be able to get 10 NSEA Protector blueprints per run of this event if you don't complete or compete in any of the other leaderboards. The odds of you not placing in some of those leaderboards, providing you engage in the loop, is pretty slim to none. So you're going to be able to get at least 10 of the NSEA Protector shards per run. It's 200 shards for the ship, which means 20 runs of the event. Hopefully this runs every couple of weeks, and then that takes the grind to between 120 to 130, 140 days. Scopely have said that it could be significantly less than that, so we've got to wait and see how that works. Now, this bundle does not show it, but you have got a 12 blueprint limit per 24 hours. So once you claim 12 blueprints, you will kick in a 22-hour cooldown. Something to be mindful of, to try and spend your eye patches as you get them. Don't think I'll wait until the final day and spend them all on protector shards, because you will hit that cooldown after 12 shards. So definitely claim things as you go. Okay, now that is the basics. That's the basics. Now, moving on to day 2, we're going to talk about what we're going to do on the days 2 and day 3 of the event. So if we take a quick last look at the event, this is all about killing the Chimeras. So you can see there's 4 events for the Chimeras, and obviously the IMS still running as well. The Chimeras are really easy to find. They are super easy to find because they've hidden them behind a huge Chimera. So if you go all the way to the left-hand side of Federation space, you've got Texas, and then go up. So basically north of Federation G3 space, you will see that you have this big Chimera in the sky, and all of these different systems have the Chimera in there. Now, little hint for everybody, if you've not been there or you didn't see it before the event launched, these do also contain standard Klingon Armadas when the event is not running, and that includes a brand new level 62 Epic Armada. So if you haven't seen them and you are high enough, you think, to go and take on the 62, but up here in Jalathar, you will be able to go and hit a level 62 Klingon Armada, which doesn't exist anywhere else in the game, which is quite nice for you to be able to do. So let's talk about what these Armadas actually do. So these Armadas have a few different sort of mechanics to them. They have abilities. So let's go dive in and let's go take a look at how they work. Okay, so I have sent 2 ships up to this system here, Ariendor, and I've sent up this system specifically because starting at the 50 systems, you will notice that any lower just looks like a normal system. Starting here at the 52, you'll see this little symbol, the hazard symbol. Now, if you read this, basically it means that base hazard hazard damage, it starts to apply at the Ops 50 systems. This is the first introduction into G5 systems of hazards, proper hazards, which basically means that 1% of your ship's hull health will be removed every 5 seconds by this magnetic minefields. And the hazard deals 100% base hazard damage. So basically that means that it's 1% of whatever your starting hull was for your ship. So not what it physically entered the system with, whatever it is when it was full strength, 1% of that will be gone every 5 seconds, which basically means that you've got 500 seconds alive in this system with any ship if you have no hazard resistance research, which unless you are G6, you will not have and you cannot yet acquire. I'm a 63 and I've only got 15% base hazard resistance for the likes of my Discovery. Now, I've left these 2 ships in there because you can see that one of my ships is totally immune to that, and that is the NSEA Protector. So the NSEA Protector has a massive, massive bonus against this specific new type of hazard. Okay, magnetic minefield is specific only to the Chimera systems. Okay, this is the only place that you will find magnetic minefield. And you can see that I have 15% on here, but what the NSEA Protector does is it actually gives you a 5,000% shield. Now, that 5,000% shield means that it's completely immune because it's over 100%. Okay, it's over 100%, so you are basically immune. You cannot die in these systems with the NSEA Protector, which is one of its benefits. But you can see here slowly, if you've been keeping and you've got a really, really keen eye, you can see that 1% of my hull is being removed every 5 seconds as my Discovery slowly dies. That's something for you to factor in, that don't just send your ship and go off for a coffee and go do anything. When you're doing this, send your ship, the warp time is low, and you need to start the Armada as soon as you start in the system. Now, what else makes these Armadas special? Now, I'm not telling you that you need the NSEA Protector to compete in this. It's quite the opposite. You want to be using your biggest ships. You're going to be using your biggest ships and hitting the biggest targets. In terms of choosing a target, you should be able to hit the target most appropriate for your level. So, for example, if you wear an Ops 51, 52, 53, you should comfortably be able to take out the level 52s. But consider using things like the Cerritos, the Titan. All those buffs do work against these Chimera Dreadnought ships. Okay, so bearing in mind that boosts could be the way to go, and bearing in mind this event's not going to come around very often, or it's not going to be an everyday event at least, please just use your boosts. Lexel will love me for saying that. Just use your boosts. Don't waste your directives, because as I mentioned slightly earlier in the video, these are in such short supply. Don't risk it. Okay, do not risk it. Now, what do these Armadas do that's a little bit special? So they have got multiple ship abilities. So they do an isolated damage increase. Now, this is wrong. Isolated damage increase by 10% each round. This is incorrect. Damage starts at 100%. Damage starts at 100% in terms of isolytic. So if this weapon fired 1 million at you, it will fire 1 million in standard damage, and it will then fire 1 million at you in isolytic damage. That increases by 100% up to the maximum round cap of 10 rounds. Technically meaning, because look, battles only last 10 rounds, that during round 10, that 1 million shot will actually be 10 million. In isolytic. So standard 1 million plus 10 million in isolytic, because it is starting off with, unlike what the tooltip says or anything like that, it starts at 100% and it increases by 100% each and every round, up to the maximum of 10 rounds. So you've only got 10 rounds to kill these. Invasion commanders do not regenerate hull between battles. So unlike all other armadas where you only take one ship, which is what this is, you take one ship to do this. Like a solo armada setup, you press the button, you spend the directives, and you start it on a 30-second timer. All the solo armadas fully regenerate, and I've showed you this look here because this one has been taken down by somebody on my server. They didn't complete it, okay, so it's still remained partially dead. Now this is important to you because dying is not actually a super bad thing. If you die to this, you will still receive a participation chest, which can still help you towards your SMS, still help you towards your pulls in the refinery, which I'm going to go through in a second. So don't worry, these were not actually designed, even though we're all proving them wrong, this was not designed for you to be able to kill in one hit. They were designed for multiple people to come and take stabs at. So if you don't kill it, don't worry about it, but you should realistically, with relatively leveled research and hitting the appropriate target, using the boosts as I've explained before, be able to take down level appropriate to you, level appropriate levels of the Chimera dreadnoughts. Now, crewing on these is super different to everything else that we know. These are not coded as an armada. These are not coded as a hostile. These are coded as a brand new type of enemy. And I want to give a massive shout out to the likes of Bloody, Jules Verne and Lexel, who have done so much testing and data gathering on this to be able to find out what sort of abilities of different officers actually work against these hostiles. And I'm going to show you that list right now. So this is the list. So shout out to Bloody for putting this into a format that I could show on stream, but also shout out to Lexel and everybody else that helped make this list possible. So if the officer ability says versus hostiles and armadas, it will work. If it says it's versus hostiles only, it will not. Versus non-player hostiles, no. Versus armada hostiles, no. Versus players, no. Versus player and hostiles, no. Loot bonuses work, and if they have no enemy specification. So I'll go through quickly what these mean. So if it says it works versus hostiles and armadas, so the likes of Balana Torres, Neelix, Harry Kim, those below deck officers that say they work against armadas and hostiles, then they will work against the Chimeras. Anything that says hostiles only, so the likes of Strange New Worlds, Pike, he will not work. Versus non-player hostiles will not work. Versus players, your strike teams will not work against these. Versus armadas alone, so the likes of 6 of 11 will not work against these. Versus player and hostile, anything that's specific to that, I think that's the likes of Tal. I think Tal says that. So no, loot bonuses will work. So if you are able to use 5 of 11, if you're able to use mirror data, mirror Picard, sorry, not mirror data, normal Picard, if you're able to use those, the pick officers to come and boost your loot to be able to get even more out of these, they will work. Something with no enemy specification. This is going back so far in the game. So this is looking at officers like Lorca. This is looking at officers like Kirk Spock, even if you're hitting the earlier doors ones. Something that doesn't have specific requirements of the enemy will work against this. And I actually leave a little comment in there. I asked somebody else to type this out for me, and Bloody said I could have wrote it myself, but I'm being lazy. Shout out, Bloody. Yes, I am lazy, but I appreciate everything you do. So thank you, buddy. So take a screenshot of this so that you know that when you're looking at picking officers, do they conform to these rules? Now, if you find anything different to these rules, let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what Armada crews that you're using. Me personally, I'm going at these with full loot and I'm hitting the level 60 hostiles. Okay, that's me personally, and I appreciate that that's not everybody's gameplay. So let me know what crews you're using, what ships you're using. Give me a rough tier of your ship. Let me know. I mean, let's build some hype in the comments and find out what people are doing and help other players out. I'm now going to show you a couple of battle logs of the actual Chimera defeats themselves, the 2 that I did earlier. Here they are. So I went against the 60s. Now, I'll throw a caveat in there. I did not want to waste anything on this first run, so what I did was fully boost. I used Cerritos and I used my Titan buff. But you can see I went full loot. I went Picard, I went Riker, and I went 5. I probably should have put Data in there, but I didn't. I put Riker in there to try and test to see if his critical chance happened to work. It doesn't. It doesn't, by the way. Now, ways to test if the officers work. When you go into the battle logs, look, you can actually see which ones fire. So as I mentioned, Tom Paris will fire below deck because he specifies hostiles and armadas. Bolano Torres will work. Player hostiles or non-player hostiles or armadas. He will fire. He works. Your control seeker probes, a couple of the abilities from that works. So increases explorer damage against hostiles. That works. So think about your forbidden tech as well. The mitigation stats from my control seeker probes do work as well. Now, I managed to finish this in one round, but just to point look here. So it starts off not at 0, as it says in the details screen. It starts off at 100% isolytic bonus for the Chimera Dreadnought, and it doesn't go into round 2 for us to be able to show you the way that works. But Lexel, again, massive shout out to Lexel, sent me a screenshot of round 10 against one of these. So I'll show you the damage for this. Here we go. This is round 10. So round 10, we can look down here at the Chimera Dreadnought. Standard damage, 31,732,000. Isolated damage, 317 million, 10x, which is the equivalent of 1,000% in round 10. Shout out to Lexel for obviously providing that information to us. So these things massively pack a punch. They massively pack a punch. But as you can see, he got a partial chest from completing that, which still resulted in rewards. If you want details on what all the rewards are, we do have a chat on our Discord. Link to that is in the description down below. You can find out exactly what you get from each and every one of the armadas currently in the game, in terms of the Chimeras, for you to be able to see where you need to go. Now, what do you do with the loot once you've got it? So you're going out there to achieve this loot, aren't you? So you're going to get a chest, and you're going to get some more of the Sarris's Dominion... Put your teeth in. Sarris Dominion salvage. And you're going to take that salvage, and you're going to go back into, you guessed it, the event store. So you're going to go back into the event store, and then you are going to go into one of 2 bundles. So there is Sarris Invasion Exchange Light. So if you don't perform so well and you only manage to get 19,000 of the loot, you can come and pull this bundle, and you can get some Syndicate XP, some mirror fragments, which are for your District 56 building, and obviously some Galactic Recruit tokens and a few X-Borg credits as well. Ideally, you want to be shooting for the extra value Sarris Invasion Exchange, which is double the cost, double the value, and it contains the exact same thing. So you still get your mirror fragments, you get your Syndicate XP, and you get your Galactic Recruit tokens and some X-Borg credits. However, in here, you've got an opportunity to earn more of the Galactic Acclaims for those favors that I mentioned in the respective Federation, Klingon and Romulan faction stores. You get Chimera blueprint vouchers, which I'll show you in a second. You get more shards for DeMarco as well. You also, if you are 61 plus, have the opportunity to earn hazard particles, which are a huge bottleneck in G6. They are huge and really, really difficult to attain. So anywhere I can get extra hazard particles would be amazing. And what I'll do is I'll show you the pull that I did earlier. And here it is. So I was lucky. I managed to get 10 Gwen DeMarco shards, which if we look is actually the maximum pull. Really happy with that. We got some Galactic Recruit tokens. Okay. We got the lowest amount of Syndicate XP, 11.2 thousand. We got 1,200 Galactic Acclaims, which is actually the highest value of them. We got 2,600 hazard particles, which again is the lowest of them, which is irritating. We got some of the mirror fragments, and we got some X-Borg credits. Now the mirror fragments, again, we actually hit the highest one of the 3, which is nice. So it was a decent pull. I'll quickly pull it up again so you can have one more last quick look at it. So that was one pull chest of this. That was all I was able to do, and I was left, as you can see, from killing those 2 level 60s with 14,000 loot, which means that next run I will likely, if I only have 2 Armada starts again, I'll be able to pull the extra value chest and potentially the other chest if I want to. Now, my early quick tip for this advice may change. I think you don't ever pull the light chest. I think you don't ever bother with it. I think this light chest is a bit of a red herring. I think you just save up, because the other thing to note is that the Sarris Invasion Exchange, the extra value exchange, has no cooldown. So you can see I only pulled this a few hours ago and it's still live for me to go. So I think you just continually save up to work on the Sarris Invasion Exchange, the extra value bundle. That's my quick tip for you for the Chimeras. So in terms of crewing, remember, stick to the officers. This is the rules again. I'll bring them up again. Remember, specific Armada officers will not work. Things like 6 of 11 will not work. Remember these things. Things that we're used to, things that are ingrained in our brain. We're going to hit an Armada will not work. Chakotay's captain's ability will not work. Do you know what I mean? Just think about these things and make sure that you're sticking to these rules. Main things that you want to be using, things that say they are versus hostiles and Armadas, that's a yes. And something without any enemy specification. It doesn't specify who it works against. They will work as well. Basically, everything else will not work. However, loot bonuses do work. The Doctor, 5, Picard, data on the side for synergy, they will work. Okay, that is a brief breakdown. I hope that's helped everybody. I've tried to keep this as short as possible. I'm sorry it's gone on for half an hour, but I wanted to go through how the events worked, how the actual series of events worked, where you go with the specific currencies for you to be able to do what you want to do. I've really enjoyed doing it over the last few days. I hope it comes back. And remember, your priority, if you have not got the NSEA Protector, is to grind it. I am going to do a separate video on the NSEA Protector, so please subscribe to stay tuned for that if that's something that you want to go for and that you want to see in the future. And let me know down in the comments if there's anything else specific that you want to see me write videos on. I do videos based on demand, what people ask for, the questions that pop up in our Discord. That's what I base my content on. I don't just make things generally. I do things on what people ask me for. So let me know down in the comments what you want to do. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Check out itslube.com. Itslube.com. You can get absolutely all of our stuff on there. Everything that we do, from our podcast, which is new, Brits and Yanks Talk Trek. You will love that. It's absolutely fantastic. It's not just about STFC. It's got loads of Star Trek stuff in the side as well. You'll absolutely love it. Pick yourself up a t-shirt. Become a member of the channel. Consider doing that. It only costs a latte a month. $3 a month is our lowest membership tier at itslube.com to help support financially to the ongoing distribution and creation of all the content that we make here on the Itslube team. And obviously, check us out on Twitch as well and come and have fun with us live. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure, as I've already mentioned. And remember that everything is better with lube. Take care. Have a wonderful day.